What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Brent, and today I have a super cool video. I'm going to be doing two different beauty lighting setups, and I'm going to be using my model Zadra. We shot a few videos back, and it was a beauty campaign for Sephora. This time, we're going to be doing Nativa Spa. They're a plant-based body care company based in Brazil. So they sent her over 4 different products, and we are going to be doing a skincare beauty type of vibe. So it's not going to be quite as heavily retouched and make-upped like the Sephora version, which was more lipstick. So that was a very beauty makeup style. This is going to be a little bit more skincare beauty. And we are also shooting photo and video simultaneously. This is going to be another example of me really trying to push my boundaries as it pertains to lighting, 2 lighting setups that I have not yet tried yet. And I'm really trying to focus on pushing my boundaries this year. So I'm excited to get into this content. Let's hop right in. Starting things off with the first lighting setup that I decided to go with, I went with a brown backdrop for this one because after looking at Nativa Spa's page, I saw that they often use a brown backdrop and it contrasts perfectly with Zadra's skin. What I decided to do for my key was I used a large scrim in the Rembrandt position and I shot a 600 watt strobe through that scrim to give me a nice soft lighting and a nice little wrap. I didn't want it to be too harsh because again, this is skincare. I decided to use a smaller light with a 36-inch softbox to shoot up towards her chin side as my fill. So I had that on my left side, her right side, and then I had the scrim or the key light on my right side or her left side. For my background, I decided to use 2 different strobes and I had them angled at 2 different levels. So one was pointed a little bit more down, the other was pointed a little bit more up to create a few hot spots on the backdrop so that I can get like a nice cool gradient type of style. And I just played around with the levels of both of the lights so that it wasn't too distracting, but it also could be noticed just a little bit. As far as her hair, I wanted to go with something super natural. So instead of doing her hair all up, what I actually had her do is when she got to the studio, she self-braided. I said, can you put 4 braids to the back? I want a super natural look. And that's what she did. Came right in, started braiding up her hair, and she got 4 braids to the back by the time we were done setting up our lights. A few things to note here. As I was moving through this setup, I had everything locked in perfectly for my subject. So I was shooting at f8. I shot at a ISO of 100 and I had my shutter speed at 1/250th. Had that bad boy nice and locked in for Zadra. Where I ran into a little bit of issue was when I started to bring in the products. These first 2 products that we did, they're serums, so they were very reflective bottles. And I had a little bit of a hard time controlling the highlights on the bottles, kind of getting them where I wanted to get them with the poses that I specifically wanted to do. And this is one of the reasons why I'm bringing you all along early in this journey before I've completely mastered the setup, because this is a growing pain that you have to go through. And honestly, it was very frustrating in the moment because I did not have a ton of time. Zadra had to fly out, Shad had to leave, and someone had the studio after us. So I didn't have a ton of a time, but I was still able to rock out and get a bunch of amazing shots. Now, what I'm able to do with this information is take it and do very specific research. It's very hard to do specific research if you're not out in the field trying out setups. I want to get a whole lot better and learn how to hone and control lighting. So that means different modifiers, different types of diffusion, different placement of my lights to accommodate both a model and a product. This is a new variable that I'm bringing into this because it's not just a prop, it is a product that also needs to be illuminated and highlighted. So check out these retouched images. Let me know what you all think. If you are looking to improve your studio flash photography, don't forget to check out my Studio Flash Playbook Volume 1. It is linked in the bio below. I go over 12 different lighting setups, starting from 1 light, moving all the way to 3. I'll teach you how to meter lights, talk a little bit about light ratios. You can even download the light ratio cheat sheet for free. This is a great value. And if you do plan on ordering, or if you order and download, please come back to this video or any other video and give me some feedback. I really want to make sure that the products that I'm putting out are helping the community and that you all are getting amazing value from them. I'm not going to waste any more of your time. Let's get back to the content. For the second lighting setup, I decided to remove one of my background lights, and I also switched from a brown to a red backdrop. The reason for this is because one of the products is a cherry flavor. So it's a cherry smell. And I really wanted to try a gradient background where it goes from like a lighter red all the way up to a dark cherry. And we have a bright red backdrop, but what we did in post was we kind of brought that red down so that it's like a dark cherry at the darkest point of the backdrop. And I moved my background light from the left side all the way to right behind her. So I lowered it down just a little bit, had it pointing slightly up so that my light slowly hit a gradient up toward the top of the backdrop. And then around like her head area, I played with the levels so that around her head area, it got a little bit darker, created that separation and gave me that cherry look that I wanted. I decided to keep my key light in the exact same position. So it's gonna stay in that Rembrandt position. And the same with my fill light. I decided to keep my fill light in the same position. Now, the exact same problems came up, or not problems, just workarounds came up where I needed to bring in the products. And this time they were not as reflective, but I was still getting those highlights that I didn't want in places that I did not want them. So what I decided to do was play around with moving my fill light as well as like, bringing in V flat, not bringing in V flat, kind of using that white side. But the only thing about using a V flat, specifically on the white side, you don't get the ultimate control like you do if you're able to learn how to control the lights, because wherever it bounces is where it bounces. So what I was noticing was when I would bring in that white V flat, even if it was kind of far or kind of close, it was illuminating the right side of her face a little bit too much for my liking. I kind of wanted to keep something with a little bit of contrast, and every time I would bring that white V flat in, it would just do a little bit too much. So I kind of played around with the positions of everything, and of course that ate up a ton of time. Don't be like me, schedule more time. Ate up a ton of time, but that's okay. The frustration that this built up in me allows me to get better. It allows me to come in, do my research, and come back better prepared. As far as my lens, I used a Tamron 90mm macro. That has been one of my favorite lenses. I bought this lens maybe a month and a half ago now, and it has not seen a shoot. Every single shoot that I've done, I have used this lens in some form or shape. I love the compression that it gives. And the last time that I did a beauty shoot, I used the 85mm G Master. I was not a fan. It could have been the unit that I was using. It could have been that I was using it incorrectly, but I prefer the macro capabilities. I love the 90mm focal length. And like I said, it gives me the compression that I need in my portraits, as well as if I'm doing something like beauty or product. And as you all know, product is something I'm very much interested in. As you'll see as well, I'll put some clips up too. We were shooting video at the same time that I was shooting photos. So me and my partner Shad, we worked together a ton. And I also work with videographers a ton, and we were swapping in and out. Now, the thing for this one, I was shooting strobes. I had a very specific look in mind, and I knew that I needed to shoot strobes in order to encapsulate that look. I didn't want to have to turn off lights and do all of these types of things. I wanted to actually dial in the look that I had. He, however, was using constant lights. Can't use strobes for video. So when he would set up his lighting fixtures, because he had a sort of a different setup than I did. It was essentially the same with the main key and fill, but his background lights were a little bit different. Needed some hair light for the model. When he would set up, we would have to move my lights out the way. So again, that goes back to what I was talking about with time management. I tell my students this all the time. If something takes you, let's say 10 minutes, right? You're setting up your studio at home, it takes you 10 minutes to set something up. On location, for some reason, it takes 30 minutes. So you want to make sure that you are getting in ample amount of time. And to kind of illustrate this, I was able to shoot the red backdrop, but we were not able to get video of the red backdrop because we just didn't have the time to swap everything out. But this, again, as me and Shad went into it knowing, this is a learning curve for us. This is a learning piece because this is something that we don't often get to do. So it's something that we force ourselves to do so we can be like, okay, now when a client looks at these images in this video and they're like, oh my goodness, I want this, I can give them the most educated answer and say, okay, we need this amount of time in the studio to be able to capture what it is that you saw on my page that you say that you wanted. So take a look at these retouched images. Let me know what you all think. All right, everyone, that's gonna do it for another video. I hope you all are enjoying this new setup. I am really enjoying it, being able to shoot the talking head portions of my videos in the studio and then locking in on set. A lot of times when I'm talking about the lighting setups on location, I'm A, not able to get as detailed as I want to because we're pressed for time, and B, sometimes there's a lot of different distractions that don't even allow me to do it. The studio that I use, sometimes there's bands playing and I'm not really able to speak on camera. So being able to set this up and still lock into the shoots, get the behind the scenes, and then break it all down for you all has been a dream for me. I've also been trying to bring you all in earlier in my process of kind of figuring out different lighting setups. That really intrigues me, is trying new things. And even if I fail sometimes, that's perfectly fine. I feel like I am more than competent enough with lighting to be in the ballpark from first try. And even if I'm not, I don't care. I need to get out there and learn more. And I'm trying to show you all that even as a professional, even as someone who does this full time, I still go and get batting practice, so to speak. I still have things that I've not learned. Just because you have a camera doesn't mean that you're perfect at everything. Just because you learn a few lighting setups doesn't mean you're perfect at them all. But if you are trying to start learning light, check out the Studio Flash playbook in the link down below. I promise you, you will not regret it. And if you do, come back and give me the feedback. I would love to hear it so that I can improve on every single digital product or ebook that comes out after this. Don't forget to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you all in the next video.